All right, assisted living fans, we're talking season 2, episode 14, Only the Lonely. Show me the meaning of being lonely. I'm pretty sure that's what, like a Backstreet Boys or NSYNC song. Like the promo pretty much shows us, it's all about the assisted living facility banding together in order to cheer up FA, who's having major homesickness. Now, in the promo and the synopsis, I don't believe there was any hint as to what the B plot of the episode was. Now, I know this seems a bit extreme, but I would probably give this episode a 3 out of 10. I know you're like, Jeremy, you have not gone that low since season 1. Season 2 was supposed to be amazing character utilization. Yes, it was really good. I mean, given the fact that in the House of Pain episode, it was all about, like DNA, ancestry, and then the use of Wakanda Forever. And then you look at this episode, and it looks like I said in the trailer breakdowns, you know what? It's funny because all the residents, like from Anastasia to Reginald, Cora, Mr. Brown, Vinny, they look like they're dressed to go to the premiere of the Black Panther film back in 2018. Yet here we are in House of Pain using Wakanda Forever. And I just thought it was hilarious. And the way they transformed the living room, which I will give props to, despite the fact that we don't have many set pieces outside of the kitchen area, the living room area, Sandra and Philip's bedroom. To actually see them transform it into like a jungle, I thought was great. Lindor made an appearance. I was shocked to see him. I don't think we've seen him since the last time I recall seeing Lindor was the one episode where Mr. Brown and FA were selling like energy drinks or something, but then it turned out to be something that got people to overexpose their true emotions, basically like a truth serum in an energy drink form, making people angry and aggressive. And Sandra wasn't in the episode. I'm like, oh wow, so Lindor is here, but it's kind of like a, episode where he's hanging out with Philip. So what in the world, Jeremy, you just gave the episode praise. Why would you give the episode a 3 out of 10? I think because the Beast plot of the episode brought it down a lot for me. I know it's, in hindsight, a 3 might seem a bit low, but going back to a few episodes ago, where Sandra had to choose a university, it felt like there was somewhat of a misrepresentation of what HBU's historically, if I'm not mistaken, historical black universities, what they had to bring to the table in regards to education. Basically, in that episode, it felt like it was almost saying that if you didn't go to a renowned, prestigious university, you couldn't get a good education, because HBUs are like, oh, those are party schools, and sure, they also help one get in tune with their culture and having more of a cultural experience. But look, I went to Liberty University, which is obviously a primary Republican school. I don't care what anybody says. And it was a melting pot. I met people from all walks of life, from all around the planet. Well, yeah, just to be all around the world, all around the planet. And I feel like that's the same for almost any university. Sure, the black colleges might be more so black people, but I feel like if you isolate yourself to only one specific group of people, you're missing out on a lot of other opportunities to get to know those outside of your culture, which would help you understand them a bit better. Just saying. Now, in the way I felt about that episode, it kind of translated over to this episode, because it felt like Philip was being, pushed in a certain direction by Leah and Jeremy, not me, because of the fact that he excels at trade work or manual labor, such as repairs and whatnot. And to me, at the end of the episode, and I know it seems like I'm jumping around, but at the very core, FA is homesick for most of the episode, and the residents such as Anastasia, Reginald, Mr. Brown, they all try different tactics to cheer him up. But then at the end, they make the whole jungle in the living room. And FA's like, I appreciate what you've done, but this This is not Africa. I did not grow up like this. There are no tigers in Africa. There are no jungles in Africa. I grew up in the city. Turn the heat back. Turn the heat down. So he appreciates the gesture. It's just that, you know, they went about it the wrong way by assuming what he did for a living. And I mean how he grew up and whatnot. So not to really like downgrade that storyline since that's the main story, but at the core, that's really what it's all about. So Philip apparently has been, I think the teacher calls Jeremy, and he's failing chemistry because let me see my notes here. I think it was mentioned something along the lines of missing 15 labs and skipping on homework assignments. And you know, Jeremy confronts him about it, and that's one. Maybe it's because the episodes are only 20 minutes long. They don't have enough time to build this up, but it seems like the way that Jeremy and Leah just jump on Philip, they're so hard on him, yet they seem extremely more lenient to Sandra in season 1, despite the fact that she was the problem child. She was the one who always snuck out, and Philip was kind of just there. But then in season 2, he does like 1 or 2 things here or there, and then his parents just come down hard on him. And typically they turn things around by the end. This episode, that didn't happen. I feel like that's what really brings it down for me. So Philip explains that he wants to be, I think, a ding dong star, aka I guess this universe is TikTok. And he's like, you know what? Who cares about chemistry? I'm not going to graduate, go into the real world. Somebody hands me a petri dish and say, hey, you know, do this to get paid. Look, let me put it this way. When I was in 11th grade, before AP classes were a thing, the school I went to had CL. First it was CP, college prep, which were non-college credit classes, but they prepared you. Basically, CP was a little more difficult than the regular classes. Like, you got English. Okay, you got 10th grade English. You got CP English. So 9th and 10th grade, I was in CP. Then in 11th and 12th grade, I was in CL, which was college level, as in, hey, you take these classes like CL chemistry, CL algebra, English, and history, you'll have college credit by the time you cross the stage of graduation. I walked across the stage with like 40-something credit, so I had, quote-unquote, 2 years of college as soon as I graduated high school. So, looking back, CL chemistry in 11th grade, that was the only class in my entire life where I felt stupid and I wanted to fail. Like, I remember getting like 13s and 31s on tests. That's how bad I was at that class. Because I think at the end of the first semester, because those classes typically had a part 1, part 2, fall semester, spring semester, I was like, okay, I hope to God I failed that final exam. That way they could just put me in like regular science for the second half of the year. I don't know how, but I think I passed by like 1 point. I'm like, this is some bull crap. So I can relate to Philip when I say chemistry was trash. I never used it. I'm 30 years old. I graduated in 2009. I have not used chemistry in my everyday life. So, but then again, on the parent side, I do agree. Hey, Philip, I know you don't care about this subject, but you're in school and you need to do your homework and make sure you pass so you can graduate. So I completely understand on him being, you know, punished for skipping his homework and whatnot. Hey, I'm all for it. But Jeremy, it's like a real extreme thing where, oh yeah, I want to show you what it's like to do hard labor. I'm like, but I mean, if chemistry is the only class he's like skipping out on and failing, why are you automatically assuming he's going to be a failure in life and not go anywhere? What about English, math, history? You're just like punishing him as in he doesn't give a crap about school in general. You're reprimanding him for one class. So he gets out his phone, and then, you know, as soon as before he can even open it, Jeremy just takes it and they say, oh yeah, boy, I'm going to show you hard labor. So it looks like, well, I was asking the same thing Leah asked at the end of the episode. I don't know how you got your phone, but Lindor and Philip are like sanding a table and whatnot. And Philip is recording something, and he's recording a video like, and that's how you do this. I'm like, oh, okay. So is he doing like videos about this? And Jeremy comes over there, haha, so how you doing over there, son? And then Philip is like, I'm doing great, Dad. And then Lindor is like, sir, I'm exhausted, because Jeremy gave like a CVS receipt linked list of things to do. And Philip has just been knocking it out of the ballpark, going above and beyond, fixing the play. Hell, I'm surprised he wasn't part of the crew to fix up the assisted living facility in season 1. I mean, this guy's on a roll. So later on in the episode, Leah is talking with Jeremy about the situation, and yet again, Lindor is just knocked out unconscious on the kitchen table because Philip, fixed Brown's cuckoo clock, fixed Anastasia's room where there's a mirror in the ceiling. I did not want to question why that's a thing, but hey, I mean, there you go. But from there, Jeremy and Leah talk with Mr. Brown about it. They just go on about how, he needs to pass chemistry, he needs to do this, he needs to do that in order to go to college to get a degree to make something of himself. But Brown lays some facts down that 1, college isn't for everyone. 2, people need to be well-rounded, because think of it this way, once Philip gets sent into the real world, he's going to need to know how to do things that you don't learn in college, like, a trade. What if he needs to fix his sink and whatnot? Or what if he needs to, what if he wants to build something for his future house? People look down on community college. People look down on, trade school to learn how to be a plumber, a mechanic, or, someone who does construction or something along those lines. We need people like that. When you give everybody a college degree, it's like in The Incredibles when Syndrome's like, you know what? When everybody's super, no one will be. I mean, look at the world. I feel like that's honestly, I'd have flipped the score to like a 9 out of 10 because of how real this conversation was. The previous generation wants to push their children to do what they did without realizing that the world today is not the same for their kids as it was for when they were kids. Like, for example, Leah and Jeremy wanting to push Philip to go to school to get a degree, because when they were his age, the American dream or the key to success, do well in school, go to college, get a good job. But Jeremy, you went to school and you lost your job, hence why you and your family had to uproot and move to Atlanta to begin with. So you're screwed. And in season 1, he did his best to do handiwork around the assisted living facility, but he wasn't that great at it. Whereas Philip, if let's say he got a degree and he lost his job, at least he could say, you know what, I'm good with my hands. I can do repair stuff around, the neighborhood and whatnot. So, yeah, I feel like what really was missing from this episode was not only the comeuppance of Leah and Philip, but also, the understanding part. Towards the end of the episode, they said, when it's time for that conversation to happen, when Philip's about to go to, graduate high school, if he doesn't want to go to college, or, if he wants to do trade, it just felt rushed. Like, even when that time came, Jeremy and Philip wouldn't accept it. I mean, heck, remember at the end of the Sandra episode recently, there was the the spicy chip contest that if Leah won, Sandra would go to the college that she wanted her to go to, despite the fact that Sandra had already made her choice to go to the university that, Cora and Anastasia are rooting for. So it's like, you say you let your kids make their own decisions, but then you don't accept it, and then you try to do something to make them change their minds. So let me just say, it's better to have a career path that's something that won't be replaced by a robot, or something that won't be shut down in the midst of a pandemic. Not to mention, on top of that, Philip won't be in a ton of debt. Like, what if he went to school, felt unfulfilled, and then he ends up in like $75,000 or $100,000 debt? But then it's like, you know what? If I would have started working in a trade as soon as I graduated, I would have been making bank. And that's another thing. Think about it this way. I'm 30. I'm a 90s baby. When I was a kid growing up, Well, don't be playing those video games. You're not going to be anything playing those video games. You need to have your nose in the book. Or why are you in front of that phone or computer? You're not going to be able to work that way. What do I do for a living? Over 4 years as a YouTuber, content creator. There are people who aren't even like 13 or 15. They're making bank as Twitch streamers playing video games. Kids making more money in a matter of months than their parents make in 5 years working a quote-unquote regular job. My nephew, who's about to go to 6th grade, I'm pretty sure by the time he's in high school, his quote-unquote career options will look a lot different than mine were when I was about to graduate high school. I feel like there needs to be more of an understanding between the past generation and the current generation of what it means to be successful. But on top of that, like I said before, I agree that while Philip's in school, he can't ignore his work. But at the same time, I do feel like Jeremy and Leah could have been a bit more understanding, like, wow, or even just take pride. I mean, Jeremy should take pride in the fact that his son is so good at doing those kind of things around the house. And also, I forgot to mention, he's been doing like do-it-yourself videos in regards to the projects Jeremy had him do around the facility. I see those kind of videos on YouTube and on these other streaming platforms. Do you know how many views and subscribers those channels have? Where it's like, there's this one guy, he's like, if you don't, hey, I'm your dad. Like, if you grew up without a dad, here's how you change a tire. Here's how you unclog a sink. The amount of views and subscribers those kind of channels get, Philip could be making bank from ad revenue alone before he even gets to his senior year. And his parents just want to snuff that out like it doesn't matter. What the hell? Okay, so that's enough on this episode. Like I said, I feel like it could have been written just a little bit stronger in regards to the Philip storyline. The rest of the episode, like I said, it was pretty good. Reginald tries to get F.A. to confront his fear of the word fish because of the memories it drums up from back home. Anastasia tries to get him on an online dating service. And Brown tries to give him like a therapy session because apparently he has a degree from FU. Yes, FU, that's what he said. Basically claiming that FA has menopause, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, this episode wasn't horrible. I just felt like they kind of dropped the ball with the lesson for Philip's parents. But you know, overall, it wasn't like, oh my god, this show's terrible. No, I just feel like the episode, you know, missed the mark. But thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And yeah, like and subscribe as I always say in every video. Hit that bell icon and select all. Social media links are in the description. And if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. But then again, it's like, I ought to give this episode a higher score because, again, this season's doing a hell of a great job with doing a lot more with Philip in this season than they did in last season. But I'll still... Episode gets a 3 out of 10, but if I were just talking about the FA stuff and how good Philip was at his trade, I would give it like an 11 out of 10, but, you know, pick your poison.